Welcome to Telling Our Stories. My name is Josh Johnson with Regency on the Lake. I relocated to Davidson, North Carolina, the Lake Norman area, in October of 2024. We started telling our stories so you, our viewers and listeners, can connect with our clients in the communities that we are a part of, from Western North Carolina to the Charlotte area. Welcome to the show, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Good morning, my name's Josh Johnson with Telling Our Stories, and I'm also with Regency on the Lake, and we have an office here in Davidson, North Carolina. And I'm pleased to be joined today with Gayle Fulks, who coaches the Davidson women's basketball team, and Kim Wayne, who coaches the women's lacrosse team. And both of them, in my opinion, are definitely on the rise. I mean, we're sitting here next to a A10 championship trophy that Kim Wayne just brought back to Davidson College in the community. And as you all know, I am big about supporting the programs and community schools, whatnot, that I'm a part of. And Davidson College and Davidson Athletics is something I'm a firm believer in. I do not believe Davidson would be, even the greater Lake Norman area would be what it is without the college. And thank you, Gayle and Kim, for joining me today. And obviously the name of this podcast is Telling Our Stories. And that's kind of what we do. And no agenda, but we're going to talk basketball and lacrosse, talk to college, what you love about the area, the community. So Gayle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Josh, for obviously having us on here. It's huge to have you supporting women's athletics and our programs. But for me, I got here, I'm going into year 10, and this was really my dream job when I was getting into coaching. I grew up right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina for a period of time, and obviously was in college around the same time Steph was, and just the magic of everything that was going on. As my career went on, I just always had my eyes set on Davidson, and now going into year 10, just absolutely thrilled to be here. My family, I've got 2 kids, my husband Ryan, and we're just absolutely loving everything about being part of this community.
Yeah, and you mentioned Stephen.
Yes.
Who went to the NBA, obviously.
Yeah.
And brought home some championships there.
Yep.
But you just had a player first player from women's basketball who got drafted in the WNBA.
Yeah, we're really fortunate. Charlise Dunn transferred to us after her freshman year at Virginia Tech when she was part of a Final Four program there. Coming to us, and she really just helped kind of have our program take off. We got better every single year she was here, and her, the senior year, she was a first-team all-conference player and the only mid-major player drafted in the WNBA this year. And just her growth, she really got better as a player, but just watching this community kind of wrap their arms around her too. She always had a long autograph line at the end of games. So we're really proud of Charlise.
Yeah, I've never met her personally. Yeah. But I've observed everything you just described, and I've actually seen some videos that she's done about how she loves the community and how she thinks that, that's what makes going to school here so awesome. Because it's not just the school that embraces you, it's the community as a whole. Yeah. And I do think that is unique. I mean, a lot of communities, if you're winning, they embrace you. If you're not winning, you're kind of like an afterthought, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like here at Davidson College, winning's icing on the cake. But even if you're not winning, I mean, the community's right there with you still. And so, I mean, hopefully we'll get to meet her at some point in the future.
Yeah, she'll be back on campus here just in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Be here for most of the summer. So
right.
She'll be back. She'll be able to stop by for sure.
All right. Well, Kim, tell us a little bit about this trophy and the lacrosse program.
Sure. Well, first, thank you, Josh, for having us here as well. So I have been here for 18 seasons, going on 19 next year. I will say what has kept me here, kind of going off of what you said, is the community, the people. I have coached at a few different programs. So prior to Davidson, I was at Columbia University in New York. I was at Johns Hopkins University, and I was at James Madison University. So all very different programs, but Hopkins and Columbia, very high academic. And so for me, I really loved being around the high academic students, the ones who wanted to achieve more and had goals for themselves. So what has kept me here is knowing that I'm making a difference in their lives, but also them being able to push me and challenge me. I'm surrounded by amazing families and parents of my players. But yeah, I mean, I truly just love being at Davidson. You know, kind of, again, going off of what you said, being here 18 years and bringing home the first championship, it's rare to be a part of a program and a community that has supported me for the entire 18 years, knowing I didn't bring home one 10 years ago. I didn't bring home one 5 years ago. It took this long to get here, but I always had that support, and I always had just everyone behind me, pushing me and challenging me and knowing that I could do it. So it feels great to finally get here.
Yeah. Well, I'm, again, honored to be here with both of you, because I really do, to do what you've done, 18 years bringing home the trophy. I mean, that takes perseverance. You know, what you've done, Gayle, in 10 years has been amazing. I mean, and that mentality is something I like to focus on a lot too. Like when I speak to people, and I call it a winning mentality, you know, just determination. And you mentioned the students here. Like one student athlete I've had the opportunity to get to know personally is JQ Roberts, who plays on the men's basketball team. And JQ is just phenomenal on every level, in my opinion. I mean, his study ethic is as good as his work ethic for basketball. And I mean, his character outside of school is top notch too. And I think that's so important, because I've had the privilege to meet a lot of guys that go to the next level, whether it be NBA, NFL, whatever. Haven't met a female yet, and hopefully I'll meet Charlise. And she goes by Charlie, right?
Yeah, Charlie, yeah.
Yeah, Charlie's easier for me to say too. But, you know, watching these guys and ladies go to the next level, once they get there, it becomes apparent how much those other things are just as important as their talents at the sports they play. But so let's go back to the community a little bit. I know both of you live real close here to Davidson, so I'm gonna hit you with a question. I know both of you have children, right? So, I mean, tell me, what's your favorite thing about being a part of the community outside of the college?
You know, there's a lot of it, but it's just, you get to see a lot of the same great people a lot and build real relationships. You know, some of our best friends, you know, are now here. And, you know, I think it's just everybody, you know, is on your team. You know, you feel that support. You feel like what Kim was saying, where whether or not you win or you lose, like they're right there behind you. And I'd say that the biggest thing that my family and I have really kind of come to find is it's that combination of, it's really safe, it's beautiful, it's a lot of other little kids kind of all running around, and you can be yourself, you know. You can be mom, you can be dad, you can be coach, you know, and that's really been the biggest thing for our family.
Yeah. Kim?
Yeah, so I have two boys, one who is a rising junior at Temple University in Philadelphia, and then one who is going to be a sixth grader at Davidson Day. I think for me, it's so great to be able to, I say, incorporate my family into everything that I do. I just got back from Cooperstown, New York, where we took my son with his travel baseball team to play for a week, and he's been on the same team for the past 4 years, and we've been surrounded by those same families for the past 4 years, and we become so close to them. And you know, I look at other friends that I have who live in DC and who live in other areas, and they're like, we can't even get practice time, it's so hard, like we don't know any of the families around here. And I just think that there's such a, like, everyone loves being here. It's we have the sun, we have the weather, and people are just happier. And so it's just, again, being surrounded by just people that we really care about.
Yeah. All right. So the community as a whole we know is great. Davidson College as a whole is great. Something I do want to touch on is the academics here.
Yeah.
So the average GPA on the women's basketball team is?
3.75.
All right. And the lacrosse
We had
team?
a 3.7.
All right. I
There
mean,
you go.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was just sharing with you, Kim, earlier that my kid's at Davidson Day as well.
Yep.
And he's on the football team. And he's like, yeah, I want to play football. Now, listen, he's probably not going to the NFL. If he makes it, let's go, Caleb. But, you know, more than likely, he's going to have to do something at some point in life other than play football. And Davidson's on his radar, right? And he came home after practice the other day and he was like, Dad, if I'm going to have a shot to even play there, I got to get my grades up. And I mean, I think that's important, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, because let's be real, the percentage of college athletes that go on to the next level is pretty slim, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Sure.
I don't know the exact numbers.
It's not
like
a lot.
1%.
It's not a lot. Yeah.
But I mean, it is slim. And anyhow, women's athletics nationwide has seen a bump, right?
Yeah.
Tell me why you think we're seeing that and where you think women athletics are going as a whole.
I think a lot of it comes down to just the exposure. A couple years ago, coming out of COVID, there was kind of a big summit that took place to sort of evaluate how we could grow our game. And it was a lot centered around just the opportunity, right? The opportunity to be on TV, the opportunity to be in locations and, start to kind of feature these players. I mean, we had some tremendous women that were doing great things before then, but now, they're getting the platform to be out there and to do those things. And whether it's the local club coaches, whether it's, people just kind of rallying behind having support and getting better at supporting, young women, you're just seeing it sort of take off. And, now there's, women's college basketball players that are getting, NIL deals and showing up on commercials during games and just all of it that kind of comes together. And it's just been unbelievable for the women in our sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, lacrosse. I mean, when I was in college, there were 70-something Division I programs. Now there are close to 140. I mean, it's almost doubled. So I do agree that exposure has been huge, but we've also grown outside of just college too, where we have like a professional women's league. We had an Athletes Unlimited league before. So, more and more kids are picking up sticks and playing lacrosse. But, I think just even with like the women's soccer players just fighting for Title IX and for equal pay and all that, that was a huge push, I think, for women's athletics.
Yeah.
I hope not too much changes down the road with athletics and especially with women's sports. But where we are right now is great.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Without women, the world would stop turning today.
It would.
I mean, Ryan, who's shooting this podcast for us, he's married to a very strong woman that I think is very talented at everything she does. I know I can speak for myself. Without my wife, I would be lost. I mean, she definitely keeps the family aspect of our life straight, and she's a teacher as well. I mean, I think women, I don't know why, but for so long they went like they were still doing what they're doing today with no recognition. And it's kind of like you said, that getting in the spotlight a little has been great. And I may say something here that offends some of my men folk, but like
that's okay.
Men that are threatened by women are weak men, in my opinion. Because there's nothing wrong with a strong woman. I mean, I think being strong, whether male or female, is important to make it in life. And, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at without the women that I've had in my life. Even in my professional career, some of the folks that have helped me the most have been women. I mean, when I first got into real estate, I had two women that had been, one 10 years, one nearly 25 years, that kind of took me under their wing and were like, hey, you're going to be great at this. We're going to teach you some things, though, if you'll listen. And they helped me more than, I'll be honest, any man that was in real estate. Awesome. And it's funny because, you think this is a male perspective, right? You think learning from a female is going to be a little softer, right? There was nothing soft about what they taught me. It was pretty in your face sometimes, and I got a lot of correction, but I love seeing women succeed and excel in what they do. And obviously you guys are doing that. I mean, both coming off great seasons. And where do you think you're going to be in this upcoming year? I mean, what do you think the future looks like for the basketball and lacrosse programs?
For us, I mean, we're really going for it. This year we've got an unbelievable non-conference schedule. I can't name everybody that's because it hasn't been announced yet, but we'll have several SEC programs, ACC. We're going to be playing in a big-time tournament that we've been invited to play in down in Atlantis, down in the Bahamas. And, for us, we've made it to the semifinal the last 2 years of the A10 tournament. And this year it's all about making it to the final and finally cutting down some nets, doing what Kim did this year. I was, talking with our program that, hey, we got to get to Sunday, and that's what Kim got to, was Sunday. And we want that to be a special day for our program because it's never been done, and that's kind of why people come to Davidson, is to do something that's never been done. And I think this team's got a chance to do it.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think for us, we are fortunate being a spring sport. We have the entire fall to kind of figure out where we are. We're bringing in a big class, but we also did lose 11 seniors as well, big impactful players. But what was so special about my team this past season, in my opinion, were our freshmen fighting as hard as they did throughout the entire season and never giving up and working as hard as they possibly could, because they pushed our sophomores to work harder. Our sophomores pushed our juniors to work harder, and our juniors pushed our seniors to work harder. Now, it did start with our leadership from our captains and from our seniors, making sure that all happened, but it was like a circle. And I've never had that happen before, where freshmen didn't just check out come March and say, well, my chance for playing time is kind of over this year. I'm going to kind of ride it out and then see how things go moving forward. So it was really special just to see that fight in everyone, because, having lost to Richmond a week prior to playing them in the tournament, everyone looked at us and said, there's no way, like this is over. And my team from day one had a goal and they had a vision, and they were all so bought in, and we just wanted it more. We did. So next year, I hope the same thing happens. I think the hardest thing about winning a championship is that the same day you win it, those people are coming up to you saying, how about next year? You can't even enjoy what you just did, because the expectations are now, okay, you did it once, let's go do it again. I believe that we have it in us, just like I believed we had it in us 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. But it's definitely going to take every single person believing and fighting and wanting to do it again.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to watching both in the upcoming seasons. I'm a big sports guy. The reason I feel like it's something in the community that brings everybody together. And I think the environment of our nation currently is so divided. It's crazy. I despise it. And I feel like sports is one of the few things where everybody gets together. It doesn't matter who you are, what your politics are, everybody's on the same team. And I love that. And I'm going to touch on one last thing here before we wrap things up. And I've shared this a lot in my podcast, and I've sat down with Matt McKillop and got their stuff. But I'm curious to know what yours are. But my guiding principles for everything I do is God first, family second, work third. I know for the men's basketball program, it's TCC. So for the ladies basketball program and the women's lacrosse team, do you all have kind of a mantra?
Yeah, I think we've got some core values around unity, integrity, and investment, but really the kind of hallmark that we've kind of ingrained into those values has been share, shoot, and stifle. It's kind of the basketball brand that kind of brings it all together, just having a team that really wants to share with each other. Obviously with the shooting piece of things, we are kind of Steph Curry College over here, so we're trying to be the best shooting team we can be, and then the stifle and the identity of just having a real intense defense, around just a group that works really hard, is something that we've tried to really instill since the day we got here. And obviously with those core values kind of coming in, they blend really well together, where you actually see a group that off the court is just as cohesive as the one that's playing out on the court. So those are the things that we've really tried to kind of pride ourselves on since I got here.
All right.
And ours is CHAT. So it stands for competition, hard work, accountability, and toughness.
Okay.
Something that we implemented a little bit more this year. Accountability is something that I'm very, very big on. But yeah, all those words.
I'll tell you a funny story about accountability. I mentioned my kid plays football, right? And the coach that he has, Davidson Day doesn't have their own program, so they combine with Southlake. And Coach Hughes there, he's huge on accountability. And, if the guys are late, there's a lot of up downs, right? So I had a conversation with Coach and I know how practice works and sports work. I played growing up, but like he'd say, okay, practice is from 7 to 10 in the morning. Well, I'd be there at 9:50 to pick my kid up. Practice is out at 10:30. So I called Coach. I was like, Coach, listen, I've got a whistle and I'm coming to give you some accountability. He said, all right, let me hear it. I think I know where you're going. And I said, I don't care when practice ends, but when it ends, I mean, we're like scheduling our lives around this a little bit. It needs to be done. And he's like, Josh, my wife tells me that all the time. If I'm going to have the kids here on a certain time, I have to let them out when I say I'm going to let them out. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've got a whistle. I make you do some up downs. But so Coach Hughes, if you watch this, I've got the whistle still. But anyhow, he's been excellent. He's a great coach. Yeah. And I mean, that program I think is really, he just took that over last year, and that program's even doing good. And I love that goes back to the community as well, how Davidson Day can mesh right in with another school and have a true
baseball
football team. Yeah, baseball too. But so anyhow, thank y'all for being here today and doing this. I mean, I really do admire what you guys are doing and want to be able to support and help in any way that I can. And again, I'm Josh Johnson with Regency on the Lake. This was the episode of Telling Our Stories with Gayle Fulks and Kim Wayne at Davidson College. And is there anything that you would like to tell our listeners, any piece of advice, motivation?
I mean, I would just say come support the programs. Come out, watch games. Gayle does such a great job of really trying to get the fan support for her players. So please come out to watch our games.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Kim and her crew, it's exciting. I mean, this year having the tournament, the A10 tournament here, it was really my first exposure to women's lacrosse over a long period of time, and just the fans, the support, how exciting it is. There's a lot of similarities between basketball and lacrosse. So if you're coming to our game, make sure you get out to hers and vice versa. But, I just appreciate you, Josh, for what you're doing in our community, how you're bringing everybody together, and we're really excited to see this partnership really grow.
Okay, so I've got another question for you guys. If folks want to come see a basketball game, lacrosse game, ladies, of course, tell us exactly how they can do that and what they need to do.
That's a great question. We just actually had our season tickets go on for sale. Mm-hmm. And I think we're one of the best deals that you can find in the area. For adults, it's $60 for the whole season, and for children, it's only $30. So for a family, you can really make this an affordable option. And we play on pretty much Wednesdays and Saturdays or Sundays, and so it's great entertainment. Mm-hmm. And you get to sit wherever you want. It's general admission, so if you get there early, you can even sit courtside and be right next to the action. So I'd encourage everybody to get those season tickets here soon.
You can come to a whole season of jam-packed, live, great basketball for $60 for an adult.
Yep.
$30 for a child. That's cheaper than going to the movies. I mean, and you get the whole season. I mean, and literally, I've been to the games.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, not just for the sports, but for all the community folks that you're there with. But Gayle, we ought to sell out the freaking gym for that.
Let's do it.
I mean, that's the truth. So, sorry.
I would agree.
I'm getting a little bit stoked there.
It's also more fun than going to the movies as well.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I took my family, I think, to 4 or 5 games last year, and even just so much fun to go to.
Yeah.
For lacrosse, our games are free. We truly won the championship because of our fans, and I can say that fan support is so huge. Your kids can run around on the grass behind the cages. It's all enclosed, but it's just a great area to be and to watch games. But our games are free, so please.
Yeah, I don't know which game it was particularly, but I was in between meetings on the day, and I was crossing the road down here in Davidson, and JQ and Brock Matheny and another basketball player, they were all walking up, and I was like, what are you boys doing out here? And they're like, we're going to the lacrosse game. And I saw pictures from that game, and the stadium was full.
That was the championship game.
Okay.
I mean,
I didn't know for sure what
how many students? I mean, I think we had 4,000 fans, which I mean, that's more than we've had, I think, an entire season combined.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
But again, that's where the community, in the first podcast I did in Davidson was with Katie Kindred. And I said, Katie, what do you love about Davidson? And she said, when you ask for something, the community steps up. So I'm making an ask right now. These women athletic programs are absolutely top notch. I mean, look at this trophy. I mean, Gayle had a 20-win season last year. And did you end up 2021? What was
We ended up with 21.
21 games won. I mean, they're both definitely on the rise. I think that we're just getting started, honestly. So come out, if you're listening, watching, come out to these games and support these programs because it's simply amazing. Thank you again for watching. If you liked what you saw, like, share, subscribe, all those things. And thank you, girls, again for coming out.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yep. Thanks for joining this episode of Telling Our Stories. We hope you enjoyed today's show and episode. Please feel free to share with somebody that you think may enjoy it. Also like, subscribe, and share away. We've got more episodes coming in the future. Thanks again for joining us today.